Hi, my name is Dina Boer from AIR, and I just wanted to go through the online reporting system for anybody who may not be familiar with it. As a quick intro, in order to access the online reporting system, or ORS, the user would click on the online reporting button in the portal, and then they would be sent to the login screen, and they would use the same login that they use for the other systems such as Tide, TDS, and any other system that has a single sign-in login. And once they are logged in, they would see the homepage dashboard of the online reporting system. Just as some background information on 310, I believe, please jump in, Lacey, if I've got that date wrong. 310 will be releasing OSAS, English Language Arts, and Mathematics data, as well as ELPA Summative Batch 1 data. Science data will be released pending the standard setting being finalized. So when the user logs into the system, they will see this homepage dashboard. Depending on what level user you are, you would see different data on the homepage. If you were a district level user, you would see data for all students in your district. If you were a school level user, you would only see data for all students within your school. Further on in the online reporting system, you will see higher level aggregates, such as state and district, if you're a school level user, for comparison purposes. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll just go through this homepage dashboard, and we can talk about each of the elements. So on every page within the online reporting system, the user will see the banner. They'll see a drop down in the upper left-hand corner, which will show links to the other systems that have buttons on the portal. You'll see the toolbar at the top of the page. At any point within the online reporting system, if you click on the Score Reports button, you will be navigated back to the homepage dashboard that we're currently looking at. If you look at the Reports and Files drop-down, the user will see the Retrieve Student Results button, which we'll go through in more detail later in the presentation. But that report will provide you with downloadable data files as well as downloadable individual student reports. The State at a Glance report provides the user access to state-level aggregates. I believe that for Oregon, only state-level users have access to this report. The inbox is the shared inbox with the Tide system. So when the user clicks on that, they will see the inbox with any downloadable files that they've downloaded from other systems as well as ORS. The Search Students button allows the user to search for students by their SSID or their first and last name. The Upload Rosters, Add Roster, and View Edit Roster will allow the user to edit rosters or view rosters the same way that the user does that in the Tide system. The Help button provides the user access to the online help guide and is dependent on the page that you are on. So if you are on the homepage dashboard, the help guide that you would click on would provide more information about the homepage dashboard. But if you were on a different page within the online reporting system, you would see a different help guide depending on what page you're on. The Print button should be available on most pages within the online reporting system, and it would print a PDF of the page that you're currently viewing. And finally, the Export button allows the user to export an Excel file with the information that you're currently viewing on the page. For this demo, I am using a demo test site which includes data for a demo district. This is not live data that I'm showing you right now. So I just want to make that clear that there's no confusion. This is a demo district. This is not a live district with real data. The first thing that you'll see selectable on this page is which test you're interested in viewing scores for. So right now I have OSAS selected, which includes English language arts, mathematics, and science data, but the user also has the ability to select ELPA summative or ELPA screener scores also. The next drop-down is the administration drop-down. The user can select which administration they're interested in. And finally, the 3 radio buttons below those 2 drop-downs let the user select the population of students that they're interested in. So if they're viewing a previous school year, for example, the user might be interested in students who were in their class when they tested last year, or the user might be interested in scores for their current students, how they did last year when they may have been associated with a different teacher. If a user is associated with multiple districts, they would see a select drop-down here. I'm logged in as a state level user, which is why I'm seeing that drop-down. But if your user level is only associated with one district or one school, you may not see this drop-down. Moving along to the actual data that's presented on this page, as I mentioned, I'm looking at a demo district, and we can see that we are viewing the percent of students proficient and the percent of students tested based on TIDE eligibility for each grade and subject for the OSAS test. If we're interested in more data, more detailed data for grade 7 English language arts, for example, we would click on grade 7 English language arts, either of the 2 data points that are shown here. So as you can see on this page, I'm viewing some more detailed data for the training district that I have selected on the homepage dashboard. And all of the schools that are within the district that I had selected are listed here. In this example, there's only one school in the district, but in more realistic data, you would see all of the schools within that training district listed. As you can see, the banner, the drop-down in the upper left-hand corner, and all of the options in the toolbar are shown at the top of the page. The selection that the user made for the population of students that they would like to view using those 3 radio buttons is indicated in a blue box at the top of this page. And if the user would like to change that selection, they can click on Change Your Selection and be navigated back to the homepage dashboard where they can change that selection. We have a header at the top of the page which indicates what we're viewing right now. As you can see, we're viewing grade 7 English language arts. We also have a legend that specifies what each color in this bar chart at the bottom of the page means. And within the table, we see the number of students who have valid test scores at AIR Training District. We see the average scale score and SEM for the AIR Training District group of students. We see the percent at level 3 or higher, and we see the percent at each achievement level with the colors aligning to the legend at the top of the page. The user has some different functionality that they can do on this page. They can break this data down by different subgroups within the system, such as English learner and enrolled grade. And they can break down by different accessibility supports, such as sign language or closed captioning. If the user only wanted to see all of the schools within AIR Training District and they did not want to see the comparison data, which is above this green line, they could click comparison off and hide that data. As I mentioned before, we're in a test site, so we are not in the production site. So in the live data, you would also see a row of data for the state level aggregates additionally. And as I mentioned, when you click comparison off or on, that data would either be hidden or shown. The last piece of functionality that I want to mention on this page is if the user wasn't interested in seeing specific columns, they could hide those columns. So if the user decided that they only want to see percent at level 3 or higher and not percent at each achievement level, they could unclick this checkbox that I'm hovering over right now and hide that column. At this point, I'm going to go through the exploration menu, which is accessed by clicking on the magnifying glass next to either the school or district name on this page. When the user clicks on the magnifying glass, again, the exploration menu appears. Within this menu, the user can change which subject they are viewing. They can select a different grade. They can view more detailed data in terms of whether they're interested in viewing personnel data, roster data, or student level data. They can view more detailed data in terms of showing the claim level information or the target level information. And they can view the current administration or a trend report. One thing that I do want to mention about a couple of the drop-downs is that if you were viewing ELPA Screener or ELPA Summative, the subject, grade, and what drop-downs would change to be specific for ELPA Summative. For example, the subject would say ELPA. The grades would be all of the ELPA grades that have valid test scores for that group of students. And the what dropdown would include domains instead of claims and targets. To begin with, let's use the who dropdown to drill through and see what we see based on that selection. So right now, I'm interested in viewing all of the personnel within Training School 1. And as you can see, for this group of students, none of the students are rostered to a teacher, so it says students with no group. However, if there were teachers with students rostered to them, all of the teachers would be listed here. If I was interested in seeing all of the student data within Training School 1, I would click on Student and I would click View. Since I have asked for student level data within AIR Training School, I'm navigated to a page which lists all of the students within that training school. As you can see, we have similar functionality where we can break down by the different subgroups and the different accessibility supports. We see a table with comparison scores, which in the live site would include state level aggregates also. And we see a data table, which includes the name of the student, the SSID, the scale score, and the achievement level for that student. If we'd like to see more information for a particular student, we would click on that particular student and we would click View. On this page, the user can see the individual student report for the student that I had selected on the previous page. The user sees the name, the student ID, the scale score, and achievement level, similar to what I saw on the previous page, but they also see the student score graphically represented, showing their score, the achievement level that they've achieved, and the performance level description for that specific performance level, along with the other performance level description. Similar to the previous page, we have the average scores for comparison purposes included on this page. We have a trend graph. If the student had tested in previous administrations, those would be graphed also. We have some text boxes describing the data measures. We have the claim level information, so each of the claims listed out along with the scale score on those specific claims, the achievement level scored, and a claim description, which is based on the student's achievement level on that specific claim. Finally, we have a writing dimension table, which includes variable text based on how the student performed on that writing dimension. So in this example, the student had an essay prompt type of informational, and on each of the 3 writing dimensions, they performed 4 out of 4 on the first 2 and 2 out of 2 on the last one. And this description is based on how the student performed on each of those writing dimensions for the specific prompts that they were given. This writing dimension table only appears on the ELA ISRs, individual student reports. It would not appear on the mathematics or science individual student reports. So on this page, I would like to quickly go over print options, which are slightly different than other pages within the online reporting system. So on other pages, the user just has the ability to print the single page. But on this page, the user has the option to print a one-page ISR or a multi-page ISR. On the one-page ISR, the user will see, on the multi-page ISR, the user will see every page element which is included in this screen. If the user selects the one-page ISR, they will be excluding a little bit of data such as the trend report so that it will fit on one page. Some teachers find this useful to be able to hand out their individual student reports a little bit more easily by having them only print on one page. So that's a functionality that we offer. I'd like to go back to the student listing page to show you another functionality that we have for the print button. So I'm going to click on my training school again and click on student to see all of the students within that training school. And I'm going to click on the print button. On this page, the user also has some different options. They can print just this page as we're viewing it, or they can print student reports for all students in this group. If the user wants individual student reports for all students in this group, when they download it, it will appear in the user's inbox. The user has the option to print all ISRs in a single PDF or one ISR per PDF in a zip file, based on user preference. Similar to the previous page, the user can do a multi-page ISR or a single-page ISR. One option that I do want to mention that ELPA Screener has is that the ISRs are translated into Spanish. So the user has a language drop-down also, and that would be the option between English and Spanish. Okay, now that we have looked at the Who drop-down within the exploration menu, I'd like to go through the What drop-down. So based on what the user clicks, be it the district magnifying glass or the school magnifying glass, the options in the Who drop-down would be different. So for the district level, you can only view the institution or school level information, but for the school level, the user can select personnel, roster, or student. I'm interested in viewing all of the schools within the training district again, so I would click on the training district. Now we'll look at the what dimension of data, and we'll look at the aggregate claim level information. As you can see, this page is laid out fairly similar to the subject level information, but we have some additional data here, which is broken down by the different claims, the claim average score for each of the claims listed, and the percent at each claim achievement category, which is defined in the legend at the top of the page as below standard, at near standard, and above standard. Similar to the subject level of information, the user has the capability of looking at all of the personnel within Training School 1, all of the rosters within Training School 1, or going down to the student level of information and viewing student level information similar to what we viewed before, but now including claim level information. Continuing to look at the what drop-down within the system, we can look at target level information also. When we click on target level of information, we'll see some legends at the top of the page which define the values in the table, some comparison score data at the top of the page, and then we will see all of the claims listed out within their all of the targets listed out within each claim, and whether the student was performed, how the student performed relative to proficiency, as well as how the student performed relative to the test as a whole. Okay. Now that we have looked at the what dimension of the exploration menu, I'd like to go to the when dimension. So right now I've clicked on the training school, and I'd like to see the trend report for the group of students that I had selected. As you can see, since this is a demo district, they do not have previous school years of data, but if they did, that would appear here. Similar to other pages, the user has the capability of breaking down by the different subgroups and accessibility supports, and has the option to graph average scale score or percent proficient based on this drop-down selection. The user will also see the data at the bottom of the page that is being graphed. So that's all of the interactive reports that are available to the user based on the score reports section of the online reporting system. Now I'll quickly go into the retrieve student results section of the online reporting system, where the user will have a couple of different options to select. On this page, the user will have the option to download an Excel version of a student data file, or they'll have the option to download PDFs of student reports, which we viewed within the system a couple of minutes ago. If the user selects student data, they will have the option to select the test, OSAS, ELPA summative, and ELPA screener. They will have the option to select the administration, and they'll have the option to select the tested grade. As I mentioned before in the exploration menu, if the user had selected ELPA summative or ELPA screener, the tested grade options would be different based on that selection. For choosing a student data file, the user has the option between the Excel format or the CSV comma-separated values format. Similar to previous pages, the user has the option to filter on the different subgroups within the system, so they can only have students with English learner status as yes or no, based on that selection. And finally, they can select the district that they are interested in and the institution. And then if they had selected an institution, they could pick a teacher and a roster if they're interested in a more detailed level of information. As I mentioned on previous pages, if your user level is a school level user, these two drop-downs will be pre-populated for you with your district and school. And if you're a district level user, your drop-downs will be pre-populated with your district, along with all the selections for school available. If the user selects PDFs of student reports, as you can see, the drop-downs have changed slightly. The user, again, has the option between the 3 different tests available, all of the administrations, the different tested grades, but they also have the option of the different languages. As I mentioned, ELPA Screener has translations into Spanish for the student reports. The user will have a download format of a PDF. They can download as a 1-page individual student report or a multi-page, as I mentioned on previous pages. They have the similar functionality to the student listing page, where they can include all ISRs in a single PDF or 1 PDF per ISR in a zip file. And finally, they have the capability of filtering by the different subgroups. The Choose Who Step 2 section would work the same way as if I had selected student data. And once the user clicks the Export to Inbox button, their file will show up in the inbox, and users will receive an email when their file is ready. Most files are ready fairly quickly in just a few minutes, unless it's a very, very large file, which then it might take a little bit longer, but they're fairly quick. So that was pretty much all I wanted to go through within the online reporting system this morning.